How are you holding up there?
We're okay. It's kind of an unsettling sort of feeling right now. Things are pretty quiet in the streets. So we haven't, overnight was pretty quiet. And then we're not seeing a lot of presence of any military or police. So everything's just really quiet here this morning.
Well, that's good to hear, but tell me about what you woke up to yesterday morning.
Yeah, absolutely. So woke up probably around 8:30 and noticed our condo faces two directions. So out of one window, we saw a big plume of smoke rising up out of the mountain, and didn't really think anything of it. Maybe it was a house fire or something that was going on. But then realized on the other side, closer to the water, there was another fire that was starting on that side of the hill as well. And not long after that, maybe 10 minutes later, we started realizing there was smoke coming from out front of our building. So at that point, we realized, this was a much bigger thing, and went down the hall to get a closer view, and then realized that there was cars on fire, all the way along the highway, close to where we were staying, right directly in front of us, and then all the way down, closer to the Malecon in downtown.
Yeah, and the word we've seen is that those cars are being burnt essentially as roadblocks. Do you know that to be true?
Yes, basically they were pulling people out of their cars and then positioning them in a way to block the road and then lighting them on fire.
All right. And blocking the road for what purposes? Any idea?
I don't know. I think just I believe just to shut down the town,
Gotcha.
basically to close off the area. And our building is on the highway, so it's right close to the entry into town. So I think in total we had about 5 or 6 cars on fire in front of our building.
I saw a picture yesterday that one of my CBC colleagues sent that was basically the highway's empty. There was absolutely nobody traveling anywhere yesterday.
No, yeah, everything was shut down. And I think just also, we thought at one point things were done, but then new fires kept starting
Huh.
throughout town. So, everybody went inside and, waited it out until we got more information.
And how are you getting that information, Patrick?
Basically a lot through the news. Like obviously CBC with you guys, the live feed has been great. It's been hard to get any other information other than stay in place. Like right now, we don't know when stores are going to reopen.
Right.
Like food, we were actually supposed to go home yesterday, so most of our food was gone. So just waiting to find out, when stores might reopen. The store across the street opened for a few moments yesterday, but then it looks like their windows got smashed out. So we're not sure,
Hmm.
when things are happening next. I will say it's been slow in getting that kind of information here, to know what the next steps are going to be. We did get notice our flight has been rescheduled for Saturday through Air Canada.
Okay.
So we're hoping something earlier might happen. But yeah, it's just a lot of waiting right now.
And how is the Mexican government responding to what's been going on so far?
We haven't seen a lot. Like there was a nice moment yesterday when the military came in. We saw some trucks come in, a helicopter circled around. So we knew at that point, hopefully things were getting better. And it seems like it was. Now, when I look on the streets, we don't see anyone. So visibly, there's no presence that we're seeing. And then online as well, it's just the same notifications of the, stay in place and, wait for more information.
And how are local people doing? I mean, you've been stuck in your Airbnb for a while now, but is this is affecting people obviously on the street and people who actually live there?
Yes, exactly. I mean, it's a ghost town right now. So it's hard to tell, as a building, it's been really nice because it's become a community, like people we never met
Yeah.
or, we're all helping each other out. So that's been great. But as far as the local community, it's hard to tell. I mean, my hope is, long term they obviously rely on the tourism industry here. So, what that's going to mean for them long term. But right now, I think similar to us, everyone's just staying indoors.
And your departure being delayed has nothing to do with this. It was because your plane had a mechanical issue. Is that right?
Well, originally, yeah, we woke up yesterday and we were kind of, upset because our flight was delayed by 3 hours. No, not related at all to this.
Right.
And then at one point we thought, oh, that might be a blessing. Maybe we can still get out. But obviously, it was a much bigger situation than we had ever anticipated. So,
All right. So you were getting ready to leave. So you used up all your food and water then, I guess. And then now you're,
yes.
oh my goodness. What are you doing then?
The building has provided a bit of food, not a lot, and some bottles of water. So we're using whatever we hadn't used up before we left. And then some of our neighbors gave us a piece of bread and things like that. So
Right.
today is really the day we need to figure out, how we're going to get things because we've pretty much run out. So at this point, we don't know what we're going to do.
And do you see this affecting your future travel to the region?
I obviously a lot of thought about that. I think it'll depend on how things transpire over the next months. It's generally been an annual trip. So it is a beautiful place and I would hate for, it to really affect the tourism here. And I'd
Right.
love to come back, but it really depends on what the safety levels are going forward because this is not something I've ever experienced before.
We were just talking a moment ago about, Canadians avoiding the United States for various reasons, and now having to avoid Mexico. Where to go next to get away from a Canadian winter?
Yeah, very good question. I guess Europe will be the place to go.
I guess. Patrick, listen, it's great to hear you. Thank you so much. And are you feeling safe where you are? Are you okay? Like, are you feeling as though there's any danger around you?
No imminent danger. I think it's just a ton of uncertainty. Like we don't know. Yesterday, it all happened so quickly and it was very kind of calculated. So, you know, really unsure if that could happen again.
Hmm.
So I would just say, yeah, it's a lot of uncertainty there and kind of being very alert to sounds and things that are happening. So, yeah.
Yeah, I'm looking at an English Puerto Vallarta news site that says Puerto Vallarta begins Monday with more security and cleanup. They're kind of putting this all in the past tense right now. Does it feel like that to you?
Yeah, it doesn't like all they removed a couple burnt out cars yesterday on the street last night, and
Yeah.
that seemed like a good sign. But then when we went out today, 90% of those burnt out vehicles are still there. Like
Okay.
there's a tanker truck across a gas tanker that was lit on fire across from our
Jeez.
building. It's still sitting there. So it doesn't feel like a lot's happened. My hope is that, obviously they're securing the perimeter of the city or the town. But yeah, really unsure, what's to happen next.
All right. Patrick, thank you so much. You take care, and it's great to hear you this morning. We really appreciate your time.
Thank you so much.
All right. Bye bye now.
Bye bye.
That's Patrick Joyce, Vancouver traveler who's in Puerto Vallarta right now. That city's been embroiled in violence after a cartel leader was killed yesterday.